Welcome to 1 Million Cups Lincoln, caffeinating entrepreneurs nationwide every Wednesday. I'm Dave with Union Bank. I'm the new organizer, so they're just throwing me right in the fire today to host this bad boy. Our mission, we create a space where startups, seasoned founders, and curious newcomers come to build meaningful connections, collaborate, and pay it forward, strengthening Lincoln's inclusive and ever-evolving entrepreneurial ecosystem. Today we have two guests speaking, both from, I think your offices are side by side, aren't they? Yeah. So that'll be fun today. They'll answer all your burning questions about economic development and the chamber today. Here's a map. This shows where all the 1 Million Cups are hosted throughout the Midwest.
Where are we at?
We're in Lincoln. Yep. In Nebraska.
There's a star.
No, yeah. Oh, there is. Yeah, we're the red star there. That's us.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps.
Okay, good. Our sponsors, obviously, we're part of the Kauffman Foundation, LPED, who Abby is presenting today. Baird Holm, Don't Panic Labs, hosts us every week. Escape Lincoln, Fuse, Co-working, The Mill provides our coffee, Merrill Lynch, and Alloy Stream. Look at our organizers. Abby, who will be presenting today, On, Dane with Bats and Rats, Pest Control, Amy Juergens with Southeast Community College, Dow with Merrill Lynch. That guy, I don't know what he does. Lindsay with Don't Panic Labs, Sarah Spitzen with, where are you now? Olson, thank you. And Vaughn with StratDM. Scan the code to check in, please. We need to keep track of our numbers. Now we'll talk about office hours. Providing office hours today are Lindsay with Don't Panic Labs on software engineering and innovation, Vaughn with StratDM on strategy planning, mission, and value. Baird Holm, she is going to give you advice on legal issues. Chen Chi on nonprofits, marketing and strategy. Nebraska Business Development Center, Quentin is here. He can give you advice on government contracting, business planning, federal and state programs. Dow with Merrill Lynch, she's back there by the door, on financial planning and business exit planning. And me, if you have any questions about banking and finance. Today's presenters, we have Becca Fowler with the Lincoln Chamber, and Abby Bartholomew with LPED, Lincoln Partnership for Economic Development. So let's get started with Becca.
Awesome. I will run through this. I didn't realize I had 6 minutes, so these slides are a little packed. So my name is Becca Fowler. I am your investor relations at the Chamber. And I said your because I help all businesses across Lincoln to get recognition and get resources. I do this in lieu with LPED and all the other resources we have across our umbrella, but I will mention that as we go through. So the Chamber of Commerce was created originally back in Europe by a bunch of businesses that needed to come together to have a single voice. So imagine you are in 1800s England, in London, right? You have a beautiful flower shop that is on a main drive, and some jerk drives past and really fast and gets mud all over your flowers. And all the other businesses along that street are complaining about how fast the cars are going or how fast the wagon wheels are going. And they have no representation to support like changing the speed in this, right? This is London in the 1800s. They don't have speed limits, but you get the point, right? So chambers of commerce have really come to be that collective voice on behalf of businesses. That was the starting point of how chambers started. They have since grown to mainly be here as a resource for businesses. And a lot of what we offer help the small businesses that are starting out. So we'll talk about that. Lincoln's Chamber of Commerce in the stats, we have about 1,280 business members that are over 9,000 in attendance. 86% of those are small businesses. So 50 employees or less is that designation. We are in the top 2% of chambers in the nation because we are 5-star accredited, which, for lack of a better term, just means that we check all the boxes of the resources that we offer through our membership. Here is the lay of the land, and Abby is probably going to talk about this as well, but currently Lincoln is primed and ready for growth. So 2.4% of Lincoln is our unemployment rate right now, which is pretty good. 689 million in planned business expansion. And I have stats for all of these, but this is basically just to show you that Lincoln is primed and ready for business growth. We can handle growth, we can support growth across the city and state. So 75% of businesses plan near-term expansion. All of these down here, and I don't know if Abby's going to talk about this, but LPED, which Abby will touch on, they did a survey of businesses across Lincoln, and this is what they found as the statistics of what we're seeing across Lincoln. All of these are to say that there is room for growth in our business sector. There are 4 ways that the Chamber of Commerce helps to power the ecosystem and help businesses, and Lincoln as a whole. So about 4 years ago, when Jason Ball, our current president of the Chamber, came on, he brought in a group of consultants to basically survey the city and understand what are the pain points that Lincoln is experiencing. Out of that survey came 28 key initiatives for what's called now Vitality Lincoln Strategy. This is things, and we'll touch on some of those big, broad rocks, but these are things that could help improve Lincoln. So having a convention center, getting Sand Hills Global Youth Sports Complex to bring visitors in. All of these bigger things help to make Lincoln a place that people want to move to, live in, work at, and stay. So that is, at our core, that's what the Chamber works on. So when someone invests in membership or anything like that, that money goes back into the community through those key initiatives. We also do a lot with businesses to partner them with fellow businesses through event and relationship building. So we host over 100 events a year, and those can be small businesses or small events to big events to educational series for a business. We also do advocacy. This is that part that chambers were originally founded on, where we advocate at the local, state, and federal level on behalf of the businesses, and it's their voice that we're speaking to. I always like to tell people it's a bipartisan policy issue-based advocacy program. So that means that we're not going Republican and Democrat, we're going issue by issue. And then finally, business support. Be that marketing, be that connections, be that a landing place for your business to learn and grow and work from. Diving into each one of these, Vitality Lincoln Strategy, there are some big overarching rocks. Again, if you want to read, there's an 87-page nightly reading program for those 28 points. I found it fascinating, but these are kind of the high level, and you can kind of get granular as much as you want. But we want to recruit diverse talent. We need workforce, and we want to make sure that they are here to stay. So any of our programs that we work on through LPED and through our young professionals group is to recruit and keep diverse talent. We want vibrant and balanced growth for businesses. So we want to provide the infrastructure to accelerate growth. There's a project that Chamber is working on right now with Planning Commission and working on their kind of processes to help improve. So that's a good example of how do we make sure that Lincoln is a vibrant and balanced place for businesses to grow and run into minimal problems. We need to work on a compelling image and awareness for Lincoln outside of Lincoln, right? If you've ever been to Nebraska and you're outside in California where I was raised, people are like, what's in Nebraska? Like, it's basically just corn, right? So that change in mentality needs to happen. So we're working to have amazing stories out in the community and in the nation to showcase to them the value that Lincoln has. So dynamic entrepreneurial systems, things like this, things like what Abby is going to talk about. How do we support our entrepreneurs even more? Our economic development. I'm going to let Abby talk about these. And something you're going to note in the red is we have a lot of things under the Chamber umbrella. And we'll kind of touch on all of those different programs, but all of us are all working towards Vitality Lincoln strategy. Distinctive destination assets. This one is one I'm really excited about, and I'll talk a little bit more about the neighborhoods and stuff. So these are the big rocks of Vitality Lincoln. Some things that we've already worked on and partnered with different programs. So Career Pathways in Lincoln is helping young adults understand different career opportunities. Refreshed brand, we already talked about that. Stronger coordination of entrepreneurial founders and programs. Abby will touch on this. New downtown convention center. This is probably one of our biggest projects right now, is we're working on getting a convention center so we can host bigger projects, which brings in money to Lincoln, which then flows back into our businesses, right? Standing Development Committee to accelerate infrastructure funding. This is something that we do at the membership level, a lot of mumbo jumbo on fundraising. We already talked about unique stories, business retention and expansion. That is something that we're actively always working on and partnering with the city and other people that are impacted by the way that we regulate. And then we've already talked about network and connected and keeping everyone in the loop. Chamber, as I said, hosts about 100 events a year. This is a lot of opportunity for you as a business to connect with other businesses, find partnerships, and work with others that may know something different than you and collaborate. And it's also there to celebrate and do PR for your business, right? Doing ribbon cuttings, talking on the podcast, stuff like that is a way to celebrate you as a business. We also offer our networking, which is Hives and the Links every month. We do signature events, which have over 1,000 attendees, and you learn something. We had Ndamukong Suh at our last one. Had no idea who he was. Everyone else did. It went over really well. So things like that. And then we also have our Rise Lincoln and our Young Professionals group, which has their own subset of events. So Rise is our women's program. It regularly has anywhere from 100 to 250 attendees. Men are more than welcome to attend. I typically will see a man attend once and then he never comes back. I don't know why. We scare him away. But the other one is Young Professionals, and we are one of the largest in the nation. So anyone between the ages of 22 and 40, this is a community for you to get together and make your own network. So the advocacy arm, we do have a local advocate, which is Katie Bollmeyer. She is an incredible advocate for the business community. I call her my Ruth Bader Ginsburg for the next generation. And she's incredible. She's a powerhouse. And then we have our state and federal advocate, which is Bruce Bollmeyer. Basically what we do is our agenda is based on what members tell us. So we have a policy team made up of membership, and they tell us what we need to focus on in the next legislative session. So you guys have a voice. We survey regularly, and we take your guidance on how we go about those. Finally, marketing and support for businesses. Businesses will find amplified marketing, the podcast, free and inexpensive partners. We do instant credibility. So across the nation, chambers of commerce offer people who see that. It's like the Better Business Bureau. It's a trusted source for businesses. So we also do a warm welcome with PR, the ribbon cuttings, blog, welcome touches that celebrate new openings, milestones, all of that, so we can educate the community on what's happening around for those businesses. And then we create connections. The events that we put on, we're always looking for partnerships that make sense for a business, and that's where I come in. So businesses that I work with tell me what they're looking for, and then I'm trying to make strategic introductions for them. Membership for us, again, 90% of this is tax deductible because we are a nonprofit and that funds are going back into the community for those Vitality Lincoln strategy. We base it off of the employee count, as you can see, but we're one of the least expensive in the city for membership bases. What you get back, 80% of higher consumer purchase intent, as we talked about. You do get new media benefits for new members to help you release and promote what you're doing. Access to those events and all of those members, and the advocacy arm. These are my sources for all of this, so you're welcome to take a look at those should you have some time. Questions? Thanks. Lindsay?
What are some of the bigger advocacy things you've worked on in the last year?
Yes, so we have worked on quite a few. So Lincoln on the Move was one, which the cones of progress, I understand, are a pain in the neck. But the road infrastructure desperately needed some love. So we worked on that, was a big project we did. Sandhills Global Youth Sports Complex was a major project. From an advocacy side, what else did we do? Right now, we're in the midst of a major project where we surveyed developers, commercial, residential, and architects and planners to understand the infrastructure of our planning committee. Because what we were hearing in the community was that businesses were having a hard time when they wanted a commercial building or residential construction, and the turnaround time of getting permits and promotion was causing a lot of those businesses a lot of monetary. So we're working on that on the advocacy side to improve those with the Planning Commission and the city and all of that. So that's probably the biggest one we're working on right now.
What's the status of the convention center?
It's in raising right now. So we have the plot. We know where it's going to be at. And they're currently working on the plans as we speak, and then the raising is where we're at with that. So yeah, the location is public. So it's it's catty corner to the Cornhusker, right in that little area. Yeah. So, and it's equidistant between the Telegraph and the Haymarket, mainly because the locations that we were looking at, one was downtown, which Lord knows we need more parking, so why would we want to put more infrastructure there? So putting it equidistant between these two locations made the most sense from a implementation standpoint.
So let's say brand new startup, low customers, no employees.
Yeah.
Should they touch base with the Chamber of Commerce? What can the Chamber of Commerce do for a new startup?
Yeah. It depends on where you're at in your business, right? So if you're starting out, like I know you have your business, a lot of times you're at a point where you're going to need SCORE, you're going to need business consulting, you're going to be in that fundraising side of things. So typically what I would do at that early stage right there is send you to Abby. And she'll kind of talk about that because she can support that startup ecosystem. And then once you're ready to hit the ground selling, right, and promote your product to the market, that's where the chamber can come in and really help you get out there. But that first year, you're establishing a lot of the key foundation. But yeah, so we can help you, but what we would do is promote putting you in front of the people that can then give you the resources to get established. And then when you're ready to start selling and going full bore, that's when the chamber can come in and kind of be more of a support system for you.
One more question.
Go.
So I really like that you mentioned that you want to change the narrative of presenting Lincoln for the brand as a place to come to business. As a Massachusetts transplant, I really like the vibrancy of the arts and culture community in Lincoln.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised by it. And I was wondering, do you have anything to like create or promote a cultural district?
The what?
Cultural district, like an area for say K-market.
Yeah. So actually, this is a project that I'm working on, and I'm really excited about it. So under our umbrella is Visit Lincoln, if you've heard of that. So it's basically your visitors bureau. And they're doing a lot to promote those different districts. So we have Havelock, we have Creative District, which is killing it right now. We have Telegraph, we have College View. We have all of these incredible hubs that a lot of people don't know about in our community that are coming into the community. So Visit Lincoln and Chamber, to an extent, are doing a lot to try to promote those. As an example, Creative District is doing night markets all summer, and we're promoting that with them. So stuff like that is like, how do we get those hubs some recognition and branding as well? So I will stick around after, so if you have questions, come and find me.
We have this cup for you, but you have to answer a stumper.
Oh, okay.
What can we, as the 1 Million Cups community, do for you? Oh, wait, you have to answer it first. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry about
that's
that.
fair. No, you're fine. If you know of anyone that has a business and is trying to get out in the community, I would love to chat with them and see how I can support. So that's it.
Perfect.
Thank you. I'm excited about this mug.
Abby Bartholomew.
Oh, thank you. I'm Abby Bartholomew. I work at the Lincoln Partnership for Economic Development, and I'm the Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So my program is called Startup LNK, and that is what I'm going to talk about today. So who are we? We're a program of LPED, obviously. So like Becca said, LPED supports Lincoln as a place of business expansion, business growth, growing the talent pool, and then also obviously innovation and entrepreneurship. But structurally, the partnership shares a building with the Chamber of Commerce. We share several resources. We have the same president, but ultimately we're a separate organization, and how we're funded, if you're interested in that, is half through city funding and half through member investments. Startup LNK ultimately champions our founder and startup community. We have a really good ecosystem here, and our job is to celebrate that, connect, and help form network support and grow startups in the Lincoln area. How do we do that? A few different ways. So one is highlighting startups and founders. A couple ways we do that are building connections and helping founders build connections with people that they'll help them move their startup forward. Telling our stories, telling those success stories, and shouting it from the rooftops. Attracting and retaining talent for our startups when they're ready to hire and grow. Demonstrating the economic impact of having a healthy and thriving startup ecosystem, encouraging investment, of course, in these startups, and then just amplifying the ecosystem as a whole. Another way that we do that is providing capital. So we have a grant program called Launch LNK. It's specifically for early stage, high growth startups to establish and grow in Lincoln. So what that looks like, it's a $20,000 non-dilutive grant. So we don't take any ownership. It's just $20,000 to use however you want, basically, to grow your startup, plus $15,000 in professional services. And so we award 6 of those a year. The applications are going to open here in September, and then we'll ultimately decide those 6 by December for next year's cohort. And since that's coming up and it's relevant to a lot of you, what that process looks like, obviously you have to apply. Then we'll do some follow-up screening conversations. We'll do a first-round interview with our LPED team. Then we'll do a panel interview, and that's typically 5 people in the startup ecosystem. And then we narrow it down to the 6 winners. We define what your milestones are, and then disperse the funds. And just to give you a kind of frame of reference for the numbers, this last cycle we had 63 applicants for ultimately 6 spots. So not terrible odds, but every year it gets a little bit more competitive. We also offer advising and coaching. We can be a sounding board, we can provide feedback, or we can help you find the people who will give you the best feedback, like people in your target demographics. We can provide introductions to other organizations or partners that would be helpful to move your startup forward. We can provide context and helpful tips, especially if you're new to like the startup world. I think there's a bit of a learning curve, so we can help with that. And then research and reports. We have, and Becca shared a lot of great data, so we have access to a lot of data that can also help support what you're trying to build. Another thing we do is we can help you navigate resources and access incentives. A big portion of that is funding. I feel like that tends to be a common pain point for founders. So we can help you navigate the state level grants, so the Nebraska Prototype Grant, the SBIR, academic R&D, We can also help navigate Nebraska tax credits and incentives. We can help you access the investor network, so Nebraska Angels or other investors in both Lincoln and Omaha. We can help you get into, or I guess advise you on pitch competitions. And then there are a couple loan opportunities, Kiva, which I think not enough people know about. It's a 0% interest loan that's out there. And then obviously traditional bank loans. Some other resources that we can help with are local accelerators and incubators, kind of knowing what your options are and maybe what is a best fit for you at the phase that you're at. Pointing you in the direction of organizations that can give you training and education. There are several of those that have really robust and free offerings. Starting a business, so that is like the legal side of things. Do I want an LLC or a corporation? How do I actually do those things? We can help navigate that. And then development partners. Specifically, if you are a founder with a great idea, but maybe not the technical background, we can help you identify development partners that are a good fit. We also host and participate in events. We have Founder and Friends Friday. Currently, we're doing that the last Friday of every month. We meet at Boiler Brewing. I don't have the time on here, but we talk about it often. It's 4 to 6. Drinks are on me. It's a fun opportunity to just talk to other founders and startup community members. Obviously, we're involved in 1 Million Cups. I'm one of the organizers here. Coming in July, I'm participating in the BAIL office hours. So BAIL stands for banker, accountant, insurance, legal, and then obviously there are some other support organizations like us there. And then in the fall Startup Week, we help support that event as well. Before I get to my ask, we recently restarted our newsletter. I only send it once a month, but I highlight upcoming opportunities, like there's a Mac accelerator that just opened. What else did I put in this newsletter? Techstars applications just opened. So things that I think are relevant to you, upcoming events, and then maybe like some upcoming or some recent startup funding. So I try to keep it very relevant to founders once a month. And then our website, Startup LNK, is new as of a few weeks ago, so take a look at that. But my ask, either now or catch me after, but the things that I would love to know are, what do you think would make our startup ecosystem better? What other events would you like to see? We have a lot of great events already, but I'm sure there's still opportunity there. And then what's your biggest pain point right now as a founder? I'd love to hear any thoughts on that or answer any other questions, but that is what I have for today. Yeah.
So we know that as minority or women-owned business, we have a lot more barriers to get over. I was wondering, do you have any resources available, program is this available to just for founders?
Yeah, there are a couple organizations in like the Lincoln, and the one I'm thinking of is the Grow Nebraska Women's Business Center in Omaha. There are a couple programs that kind of specialize in that already. However, one thing that I also did was, because I feel like funding is a common pain point for everybody. I started a spreadsheet of grants, not just, I have the local opportunities, but like nationwide. And I would say probably 80% of the opportunities on that spreadsheet are for women-owned businesses, BIPOC founders, some of those under-supported or underfunded communities. So that's one way that but I feel like there's more opportunity there, so yeah. Yeah.
So there are several stages to start. That's maybe they flesh out a little bit, maybe with an MVP. At what stage do you think they should contact you?
That's a good question. I think any stage I could be helpful connecting you with resources or helping with whatever challenge you're facing. I think I'm probably the most helpful at the beginning, especially for somebody who's a first-time founder, who's new to this, because I do think it can be very confusing to kind of understand the landscape and funding, and so I feel like I'm probably the most helpful at the early stages, but I think there's, it's literally my job to do whatever I can to support you at any stage, so I think I can be helpful at any point.
Yeah, I'd like to answer your first question.
Yeah.
I think a good suggestion is to
cultivate spaces that encourage sales. Out of the different chambers I've been a part of, or organizations I've been a part of, the ones that were most scrutiny are the ones that encourage sales amongst the members.
Interesting, yeah. I like that. Awesome, thank you. Yeah.
As a founder who struggles to hire technical talent locally, can you talk just a little more about what you're doing there?
Yeah, so when it comes to, well, a couple things. I think we can tap into, I guess it kind of depends what you're looking for, but like we can tap into university talent pools. I would probably pull in Allison at the Chamber because workforce is her entire focus. But I think we have connections to a couple of those communities. And there are also other kind of more structured opportunities like, why can't I think of the like the design showcase at the School of Computing, things like that, that we can help sort of put you in touch with. So I think there's some nuance into what's the best fit. Yeah. But yeah, totally up for the challenge of helping to figure it out.
Abby, there might be a couple networking opportunities we can talk about.
Cool. Awesome. Very cool.
One more question?
Yeah.
So like what is Startup LinkedIn? Like, so is that like geared towards like usually a lot of people when you're startup, it's like tech companies.
Yeah.
Is that like what it's just designated to the companies? No? Oh.
No, but I understand why, because startups in the name. But our website, especially with this refresh, I tried to make it kind of all encompassing for all entrepreneurs. So there are resources for, so things like Grow, Business Center can certainly help startups, but I would say they're more focused on whatever you want to call it, like Main Street businesses, small businesses. So I tried very intentionally with the website to kind of cover all of those bases because, I think there's some overlap into needs of those two, but in a lot of ways the needs are different. So yeah, cool. All right, I think that's it.
Good job. And obviously your asks are already up there and you just asked them, so we're good.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone have any announcements of upcoming events?
The AgTech conference, I believe, is either July 15th or 16th.
16th. There are some events on the 15th, but the main event is the 16th.
So can you find out through the Startup LNK calendar or?
Yeah, it should be on there, yeah.
Okay, we have open coffee at Crescent Moon, 8 to 9:30 on Thursdays, and then the last Friday of the month at Boiler Brewing from 4 to 6, Founder and Friends Fridays. So have yourself a beer. The Women's Brunch Series, Mo Money, Mo Problems, began June 24th. The next one would be July 8th. Mo Money, Mo Momentum, Growth and Scaling. And then the Bail Series kicks off on next Thursday from 11.
Nebraska code for all of you potential engineers in the room. It's the third week. Just Google Nebraska code.
Anyone else?
I'm Jocelyn from Open Range up in Omaha. Abby mentioned the Techstars accelerator program that's opening up in, it's broadly in Omaha, but if you're in Lincoln, that qualifies too, or even really in Nebraska. We've had some founders in Scottsbluff. But if you have interest, or if you have questions about that or interest in it, come find me. The applications are open now through August 22nd, and then the program kicks off in September. We usually take around 5 to 10 founders, primarily tech enabled, but it's pretty open. So if you have questions, let me know.
Fantastic. Very good. Let's give another hand to Abby and Becca. Oh, Lindsay has something.
So if you didn't see online, or I don't have a slide, just make sure you check in. But we are this week and the next 2 Wednesdays, it's an ecosystem series. So it's a little bit different than what we've typically done. Next week is going to be more focused around like funding things. We have Dave and Union Bank. We potentially have another speaker. We'll wait to see if I can get confirmation. And then that third week is going to be appointment with the Nebraska Business Development Center. So another great resource as you work through your business idea, and we can help with funding. And then we'll also have Kate Eagle from Innovation Campus to talk about what Innovation Campus can offer. It's not just for students. So stick with us for the next couple of weeks as we dive into like what the ecosystem can offer you.
And if we don't have another speaker next week, I'm just going to sing the rest of the time. So stay tuned for that. So fun. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. Have a great day.